There's been a red card, but for who, Chris Kamara?
Red card. Gets a red card. It is a red card. That's not a red card.
And a red is a red card for Zidane.
4 lads, 1 red card.
Hello everyone, welcome to 4 Lads, 1 Red Card. This is already the 10th edition of your favorite podcast, and I'm joined as usual by my 3 usual mates, Jotis, Darren and Alex. How are you doing, guys?
All good.
Yeah?
Very
Not
You
bad.
good?
International break was a bit boring, but then the game yesterday happened, Scotland, and there was the Ireland game, so pretty
Impressive.
good now.
Really impressive. So yeah, as you know, as you say, we're in the middle of the international break, so we have decided to do a special edition today. We're going to do a tier list. Just before we explain the rules, please don't forget to follow us, put a like, comment, and share our content on our social medias. 4 Lads, 1 Red Card, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, and X. So yeah, I think everyone is more or less familiar with what a tier list is, but I'll explain very quickly what we're going to do today. So we have decided to rank all the Champions League finals since 2010. So it's 16 finals in total, which we'll judge and rank in this table that you see here. Okay, so we have one GOAT, so that's the best final from the last 15 years. We, of course, may have different choices, but I'll explain. If 2 or more people here have the same one, that match will be at the top, okay? If everyone has a different one, we will discuss and vote together to elect the only GOAT, okay? Then we have very simple, the great final, match that left us a lasting impression, an unexpected result, or simply an excellent level of play. We'll have maximum 4 final in each category, so the aim is to fill the table fairly in order to have a true ranking. We then have good final, very simple. That was not the best one, but a good one. Then we have the overrated category. To explain, this is a final where we expected a lot, maybe in terms of play, the teams, the tension of the match, the result, but which ultimately disappointed us a bit. Okay, so that's the overrated one. And finally, we have the boring final. I think you all understand that we would have preferred to do something else than watch this game that evening, but we are football fans, so we watch all the great games. So that's the last category. So everyone will give their choice and opinion for each final, and we will then classify it into one of the categories fairly. For example, if the majority of us classify a final in one category, it wins. Otherwise, we will try to balance the opinions to respect the maximum number of choices per category. We have 16 finals, so 1 GOAT, and then we have 15 other ones to classify into those 4 categories. Guys, is that clear for everyone? Everyone is okay with that?
Yeah, all clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're cool. So then let's start right away with the first one. It's the 2010 final between Bayern Munich and Jose Mourinho's Inter Milan. The Italians won 2-0 with the brace from Diego Milito. I'll start with the youngest member of this team, Alex. Where do you classify this 2010 final?
So, I think I would put it in like good final. You can't. So Diego Milito scored that brace. It was played at the Bernabeu, but yeah, we all know that Barcelona should have been in that final and they should have won that Champions League at the Bernabeu. But yeah, Inter was very good back then. Milito scored 2 goals. It wasn't actually a final that like had many intense moments or drama because Inter scored, I think it was 1 goal in each half, so it was kind of straightforward win for Inter, but yeah, a deserved victory in the end. For me, it's a good final.
Good final for you, Alex. Jotis, do you agree with Alex?
I would actually put it in a great final just because how historic that win was for the history of Inter and for Mourinho, because that was the last game Mourinho played. Mourinho was coach for Inter because he left for Chelsea right after.
Nah, for Real
Oh,
Madrid.
for Real Madrid right
Yeah.
after. Sorry, my bad. So I think that was I mean we all know what happened in the semi-final against Barcelona when Inter played Barcelona. So after that, coming into the final and winning that final and taking Mourinho to the elite So I think that was a big moment. So I would put that in a great final.
Okay, great final for Jotis. Darren, what's your rank?
I mean, to be fair, it's one of the finals that I think changed football a bit because everyone was thinking that Guardiola's Barcelona were invincible in those years and Messi were literally on his prime during those years. But both as an admirer for that Inter's performance and as a Galatasaray fan who loves Wesley Sneijder so much, and I would like to also point out that he was robbed of Ballon d'Or that year. That year in 2010, Wesley Sneijder should have won it, not Lionel Messi. And I think that final was a great final as well. I agree with Jotis.
Okay, great final for Darren. Put as same as Alex, I put good final. It's also because I have lots of great finals, maybe above that one. But I agree with you. That was a really interesting one. It also kind of ended the domination of Italian football in Europe. You remember with AC Milan, Juventus before, and then Inter Milan now in 2010. Their season was great. I put it in a good final because, I mean, as you said, we knew that Inter will probably win as soon as the match has started. If I remember well, Bayern Munich was kind of good, but not really excellent during that game. So that was not the most intense final I've seen, but that was a good one. So that's why I put it in good final. So we have two good final and two great final. We have to decide right now. What do you think, Alex? Do you think you keep with the good final, or do you think we can place it in great one?
No, no. I must stick with the good final just because it was like so straightforward. There was no drama, no like tension, nothing during the game. From the moment Inter started playing their park the bus, we all know that Bayern would not be able to get past that defense. So yeah, it was just a game that started, ended, and that's all. There's nothing you can remember from the game. Of course, you remember that season from Inter, but don't let the whole season fool you because we are here like talking only about the final, not the whole season.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, it's a good final. Only a good final, not a great final.
Okay, Jotis.
Now, I was just going to say, I mean, if you look at just the game, just the final game, it might not like I wouldn't call it great, but just because of the significance of everything that came up to the final and what that final means for in the history of the club and the career of the players and Mourinho, that's a reason I would put it in a great final. But I wouldn't mind if, for the sake of categorization, if we put it in good final, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, same goes for me as well. Maybe I was a little bit biased by the story of that final of that whole season, but there will probably be other finals which we can consider as great finals. So I think it's safe to say that we can put this in a good final.
You know what? We'll put it in good final, and if we have space for it, maybe at the end, we'll replace it if we need. Okay. So I put it in good
Sounds good.
final for now, and then we'll see. All right.
Okay.
Perfect.
Let's move on to the 2011 final at Wembley between Man United and Barcelona. Pep Guardiola's team won 3-1 against Alex Ferguson Red Devils. That was an interesting one. Jotis, for you, this final is what?
I actually put that in boring.
Boring.
Actually, that's not
so
true.
biased.
I would put that in overrated, not boring. It wasn't boring, but I would say it's overrated.
Okay.
Nah,
Yeah,
A bit
that's
controversial there,
my
bro.
vote. That's overrated.
the
Yeah, too
audacity
overrated.
to do that.
Overrated
Yeah,
for
that's my
Jotis.
vote.
Man, this is
Yeah.
not CBS Golazo show.
Darren, I think you don't agree with what Jotis said.
No, I don't agree. I definitely don't agree. I mean, even though Barcelona is not my team, I should say that Barcelona did an impressive performance that year. Not only that year, but for the past 3 years, including that season, Barcelona were amazing. And in that final, I think that's the point where Manchester United's one of the biggest European teams title has ended. Because that's where not the downfall, but that's where the decline of Sir Alex Ferguson has started. He was starting to get old already, and it was crystal clear that he was going to leave the team a couple seasons later. So I think this was one of the top points where it ended because two Champions League final losses in 3 years against the same team. It's very impressive. So I think that's a great final.
Okay, great final for Darren. Alex, Barcelona, your team against this Manchester United side. For you, it's also a great final.
Okay, so it's a GOAT final. And I have arguments for that. I have arguments for that. One of first of all, it's a GOAT final because Messi put a 10 out of 10 performance that was like given by L'Equipe a 10 out of 10, and we all know that L'Equipe doesn't give 10 out of 10 performances for players for no reason. Actually, in history, there were like 10 players or 10 times a player was given 10 out of 10, and Lionel Messi is the only one to do that twice, but that's another discussion. Yeah, uh, 10 out of 10 for that. Second, it was like if you want to talk about significance and history, that was the perfect illustration of that Barcelona team because they had destroyed Manchester United for the second final in a row.
Yeah,
Remember that it was the second time in 2 years these two teams were meeting in the Champions League final, and you could easily say because of that that they were the best on the continent, and Barcelona won both games without moving a finger. It was crystal clear that Barcelona were at the peak of powers and it was the peak of football. That
yeah.
was the best team in history. Sir Alex Ferguson admitted, and not even Ferguson, but Rio Ferdinand and other United players that were on the pitch on that day, he admitted years later that they couldn't do anything about Barcelona's football. They just couldn't get near the players, they couldn't do anything, and they accepted defeat even before they went onto the pitch. So I think we have enough reasons to mark it as a GOAT final, and we also had great goals. Messi scored from outside the box a very nice, like low shot,
Mhm.
and David Villa with a nice curler also from the outside of box. So there's enough reasons for me to mark it as a GOAT final.
Okay, so GOAT final for Alex. I've put it good final. I was hesitating between great final and good final. Great final because this match was maybe between two teams that were at their maximum at this time.
Mhm.
Manchester United was impressive in England and
Yeah.
also in Europe. Barcelona was destroying everyone at that time. I thought that maybe that was not the greatest final I've seen because the rivalry between those two, as you said, 2 years before Barcelona won, and that time again, Barcelona was really dominating Manchester United during the whole game. Even if Rooney scored the goal, we all knew that Barcelona will win that game. That goal of Lionel Messi, also from David Villa, if I'm not mistaken. So great goals. So I've put it in good final, but now we have one GOAT, one great final, one good final, and one overrated final for Jotis. I think that as it is the GOAT of Alex, we should put it in the great final category, guys. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that.
Okay, yeah, that's
I
fair.
said great.
Okay.
It's his GOAT, so we have to respect it. And that was
Okay.
a
Don't
very
worry,
good final.
Sotis.
So
You'll have another chance to slander Barcelona's final. There's one more.
There's only one.
Okay, so now 2012 and this final in Munich is once again between Bayern Munich and now Chelsea. Victory for the Blues for the first time in their history. I'll begin first. You know that I like Chelsea. I've put it in a great final. I'll explain. I know that some people maybe consider Chelsea as a boring team. No, I don't care. For me, that was a great final because the scenario of the game was amazing. We had that Bayern Munich playing this final at home in Munich. They were really dominating football at that moment. Ribery, Robben, Schweinsteiger, all that players that they had against that Chelsea side that was struggling in the league with the new coach. We talked about Roberto Di Matteo before. The situation in Chelsea was kind of weird at that time, but they managed to win. I still remember that goal from Drogba at the end of the game to equalize. Then also the penalty saved by Petr Cech in the extra time, and then the penalty. So I think all the ingredients for a great final were present during that game. So my opinion is that this final is a great one. Erin, what do you think?
You know what? I think that final was an absolute cinema. I absolutely loved that final, and not only for Chelsea winning that, but also for the story behind it. I mean, Didier Drogba is one of my favorite players of all time in football. And that goal that he scored from the front post, the way that he jumped and turned his body, that was out of nowhere completely. Like, I don't believe there are many footballers in the world right now that can score that header. And also, that whole season, Chelsea was not having a really, really good season. As we know, they paid a huge amount of money for Fernando Torres, but he didn't play as he was playing in Liverpool, although he was not the worst striker. And he actually saved them against Barcelona in that last minute goal. But since we're talking about the final, I think it was a really, really good story, and that Petr Cech penalty save as well. And also, that final was in the home of Bayern Munich in Allianz Arena. So it's very, very impressive for Chelsea to win with the side coach, Di Matteo, in the Allianz Arena against Bayern Munich, which we should also point out that in those years, Bayern Munich was one of the best teams in Europe. I think the manager was Jupp Heynckes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And yeah, that man was also a really, really good coach. So I personally put this in the GOAT category because I just love the story behind it.
All right, so
Wow.
that's your goat,
Big
Darren. I
call.
like
Yeah.
that take. Jotis, where do you classify this 2012 final?
I would put it in a good final.
Good
I
final.
mean, for all the reasons Darren mentioned, that Drogba's goal, that header, still like I can see it like in my memory. Like I feel like it's one of the earliest Champions League like golazos, final
Yeah.
golazos that I've seen live, and yeah, it just reminds me that's such a great memory. So I would put that in a good final.
Good final for Jotis. Alex, what's your choice?
For me, it's a great final. It's just below GOAT. I mean, the boys already mentioned the reasons. We were talking about how the Inter and Bayern Munich final in 2010 didn't have any drama. Bro, this game had everything from the uh, Bayern opener goal in the first minute, I think, and everybody thought that Bayern was going to win the game. Then Drogba equalized out of nowhere with a bullet header. Then Czech a penalty save in the extra time, and then Chelsea to win it on penalties. And remember, they were coached by Roberto Di Matteo, the guy that disappeared straight after the final. Yeah, just crazy, crazy drama, crazy tension. Also in the Bayern Munich home ground. For me, it's a great final.
Okay, so we have one go, two great final, and one good final. I think we'll do the same than the previous one. We'll put it in the great final, and then at the end, as for now, we have two different goats. We'll see Jotis and mine later, but we'll discuss to select the only goat. But for now, we put it in the great final. Okay.
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 Sounds good.
Now we move on to the 2013 final, no German derby between Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund. Bayern won 2-1 after losing the final in 2010 and 2012. Jotis, this final between those two German sides, where do you place it?
I would actually put that in a great final.
Okay.
It's the Klassiker, and it's a Champions League final. It's not every day that Borussia Dortmund reaches the Champions League final, even though it was heartbreaking for them in the end. The memory that I have from this game is like Robben's goal in the final minutes. What a thing of beauty that was! Like it was classic Robben. He was running in, and he just like chipped that into the side. That's my biggest memory of that game. And Bayern, as we saw, had just lost out on a final the previous year. They just came out and won it again. So that was a time when like Bayern was such a dominant force. So I would say that was a great final.
Great final. Alex, for you?
I must say it's a good final. Even though I didn't like the outcome, I was a kid when that game was played. I watched it and I begged for Dortmund to win it just because I liked their story for the whole season. But yeah, Robben scored. Even though Bayern won it late, I think it was kind of an expected result because Bayern were obviously the favorites going into the game. Yeah, it's a good final, and it's also special because we had their Klassiker in the final, a full German final. But it's a good final for me. Not great because personally, I would have loved Dortmund to win that final.
Okay, nice. A good final. Alex, Darren, what do you think?
I mean, as a season, I think again Bayern Munich had a wonderful season again, back to back. And also, let's not forget how they humbled Barcelona in the semifinals, a 7-0 total score. But since
Yeah.
again we're talking about only the final, I would say it was a good final. Although it was Der Klassiker, like you said, and the story behind it was great. I personally wouldn't put it in great finals because I think there will be much more finals which I consider greater than this one. But it was not a bad final. I think I enjoyed it a lot when I was a kid. I was 13 years old when that final was played, so I think it was a good final.
Good final. I to be honest, I had the kind of the same reflection as you, but I put it in the overrated category, not because the game was overrated, because Bayern Munich destroyed Barcelona.
Yeah.
Okay. Dortmund destroyed Real Madrid. We
Yeah.
remember that four
Yeah.
goals of Lewandowski. We have no German derby in the final, so we wanted blood, we wanted fights, we wanted, you know what I mean when we have kind of those kinds of finals. And yeah, as Alex said, the result was kind of, we can predict that Bayern will win this final, unfortunately, because I think lots of people were supporting Dortmund at that time. And yeah, I have good memories of this final, but it was not the fight I really expected it. I really expected. So I've put it in an overrated final, but that was kind of a good one. So we have one great, two good, and one overrated. So we have a good final. That's okay for you guys? Good final?
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
fair.
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
that's good.
Okay, let's put it in a good final. Next, 2014, another derby, this time in Spain between Ancelotti's Real Madrid and Diego Simeone's Atletico Madrid. We remember, of course, that final. Real won 4-1 after extra time, securing the famous Decima. Jotis, I let you first tell your choice for this final.
So this is the GOAT final, hands
Uh,
down.
We just
In
know
the
it.
21st in the
of course.
21st century, there has not been a final as dramatic, as intense, and as historic as this one. I'll tell you why. So Madrid has been chasing for that La Decima for over 12 years by that point, because the last time we won was in 2002, and we had gotten into the final finally for the first time in 2014 since 2002. And the longest serving player on that pitch, it was Iker Casillas, and it was his mistake that led to Atletico Madrid's goal, who is a City rival, as you all know. And then in the dying minutes, third minute, Modric, I mean, you guys know what happened.
Yeah.
And then we
Exactly.
came back, and then, it was the most, at that point, up until that point, I had never seen such a comeback, like ever. I've never seen such a comeback live. That final changed my life. I know that's dramatic, but I'm telling you, that final was everything. I was alone watching at my home, and it was 3 in the morning because the game starts at 12:30 when you're in India. It was 3 in the morning. I was sweating in my living room. I was crying. I was dancing around. I was like a madman. So for me, that's the gold final. And I would argue objectively there has not been as dramatic game since 2010 until this date. So that's the gold final for me.
So good final for Jotis. I've put it in a great final. To be honest, I totally agree with you, Jotis. That game was impressive. I think we were all kind of like children becoming adults at that moment and watching that game. You know what I've said about that Bayern against Dortmund final that we didn't have? We had it in the 2014 between Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid. We have fights, we have different occasions, we have suspense. That later goal, that header of Sergio Ramos was maybe one of my greatest memories in football, at least since some months now. But yeah, I've put it in a great final category. I think that it can be in the discussion for the GOAT, but I have another one. You'll see it later. So for me, it's a great final. Alex, this 2014 final, where do you put it?
So I'm a be real. Unlike Jotis, who is so biased judging all these finals here, I'm a be real and objective. Yeah, it's a great final. It's a great
Mhm.
final. You have drama, you have local rivalry, you have everything. I didn't like the outcome. Of course, I actually hated the outcome, but yeah, it's a great final. What can I say? You all mentioned all the reasons. Atletico were so close to
Yeah,
winning that game, and that would have been the perfect season for Atletico because that year they already were La Liga champions. Real Madrid were third in the league. They were like, I think, almost 20 points behind Atletico. So it was kind of like the winner takes it all, you know? If
yeah,
Atletico had won that game, they would have been crowned the kings of not only Europe or Spain, but also they are like the kings of that Madrid rivalry, you know, because you are winning the Champions League final in front of your rival and he's 20 points behind you in the league. But then Real Madrid won the final after 12 years and they came back. Yeah, the story is crazy. 93rd minute equalizer. Unfortunately, not a great outcome, but yeah, great final.
great
Were they
final.
actually 20 points behind them in the league that year? I don't remember the La Liga season.
Not
Not
sure. I know
exactly
we were
20,
third.
but they were like far away, very far away.
Wow, I forgot.
Yeah,
That's
because
great.
Barcelona were second, and
Yeah,
then
Barca were like they fought with Atletico for the title until the final games of the season, and Atletico clinched the title at Camp Nou.
yeah,
I'm watching the table right now. Alex, you were close. It's not 20 points, it's only 3 points.
How many?
Only
really.
three, only
What?
3 points. But you're right. Atletico Madrid won the title with 90 points, and then there was Barcelona 87 points, and Real Madrid the same amount of points, 87.
Wow, immense
For the
football moment,
first
bro.
time ever, Alex has got something wrong.
Yeah,
Game's
for the
gone, man.
first time.
Game's
Oh
gone.
my
Wow, bro.
God. Okay.
I mean
But
that's fair, bro. You can't have everything you can't know everything correct. You're like a football encyclopedia. This was your first mistake, so that's not a big.
no,
Yeah.
but it felt like Atletico Madrid. I agree with you. Was really dominating La Liga at that time, so that's okay. Therein, where do you put that 2014 final?
You know what? When I think of this game and also the Chelsea Bayern Munich game, I was literally this close to picking this as the GOAT final.
Mhm.
But when I think back, I mean, back then when I was watching it live, I think I had more tension inside me when I was watching the Chelsea Bayern Munich game. I don't know why, even though both finals were great. So that's why I'm not gonna put this in GOAT. I mean, you guys explained literally everything, so I don't have much to add. I'm gonna put this into the great final category.
Okay, so we have three great final, one goat. So we'll vote then to select the goat, but we'll put it first in the great final category for now because it's the best result we have for now. We have one goat and three great, so we put it here, and then we'll debate after that if it deserves to be the goat. Let's move on because we have a lot to do. 10 years ago, final between Barcelona's MSN and Juventus. Barca wins 3-1 and claiming its fifth European Cup. Alex, I let you begin this ranking for Barcelona.
I think it's a I'm I'm like between good final and great final. Barcelona completed the treble. It was the prime era of MSN. Just because of all the story around the game, I would put it as a great final, but I wouldn't mind if you guys put it in a good final. The downside arguments for not putting it into a great final would be that the result was also like kind of expected because Barcelona were so good. And even though Juventus equalized at some point and it was 1-1, we all knew that Barcelona was going to win that game. It was no chance for Juve. Barca started very strong. They scored in like the third minute through Rakitic. Juve equalized, I think, right at the start of the second half, but then Suarez made it 2-1. So it was not tension. There was no tension during the game. So I'm not sure between good or great final. Just for the sake of the story, I'm a say great final, but I
Mhm.
agree if you guys say good final.
Okay, so between the two, Darren, where do you put it?
You know, I was not in between great and good final. I was actually between overrated final and good final. I mean, it was not a boring game. I enjoyed the game, but I expected a bit more from Juventus. But for the sake of that amazing Barcelona front three and their
Mhm.
performance in the final, I think I'm going to put it in good final.
Good final. Jotis, what's your opinion on that final?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it was a good final because I think on the way to the final, Real Madrid got knocked out by Juventus, if I'm not wrong, and they were so good that year. So going into the final, I was expecting more from Juve, but like Alex said, that MSN trio was at their peak and they completely dominated that defense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would put that as a good final.
Okay, good final. I have the same opinion as yours. To be honest, if Juventus team were maybe played better, if they did more things on that game, it should have been maybe a great final or even more. Because when you watch that Barcelona team, that Juve at that time was really great, but we missed this rivalry between the two during the final. We all knew that Barcelona was gonna win this game. So yeah, that was a good final. So yeah, good final for 2015. We now come to 2016 and the rematch between Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid. Real Madrid won it again, that time on penalties. Let's that final 2016, where do you rank it?
It's an overrated final, such an overrated final. And it was for this final, we should just add another category, robbery. It was a robbery. But we should have never won that final. Ramos opened the scoring from an offside position. It was a clear offside. And the linesman didn't do anything about it. And when you look at the images, my man is like so clear out of play. He has like half of the body in front of the defender. So yeah, we should add another category for it and call it robbery, because that was what it was, a robbery. Atletico Madrid were so unlucky and Real Madrid played horrible. They played so shit. They were so lucky to win it. I would put it in a overrated final.
Overrated final. I'll give my opinion now because I have the same as yours. I'm not saying that that was a robbery, but for me that was a kind of overrated final because that was a rematch just 2 years after the first one. We expected way more, I think, during that game.
Yeah.
Of course, from Atletico, I remember that the penalty missed by Antoine Griezmann, if I saying good, and that victory on the penalties was kind of like you were excited, but that was not the greatest final I've seen, and I expected way more from those two teams during that final. So for me, also it's an overrated one. Jotis, please say your choice, but don't accuse Alex and me, please.
No, I mean, I agree that there was not such like much drama because because when the rivalry happened again in the final, because there was a lot of tension because it could be Atletico's chance to win it, and that wouldn't be good for us. But I think it was a good final just because of the events that happened and how it went to penalty shootout. Like when the final goes into a penalty shootout, it's there's always drama, there's always tension, and of course Ronaldo stepped up to score the final penalty and won it for Real Madrid. So I think it was a good final. Again, Griezmann missed the penalty, and then Juan Fran missed the penalty in the shootout. But yeah, I think it was a good final.
Okay, good final for
You're
you,
so
Darren.
biased, bro. So
I kind of
biased.
agree with you guys. I don't think that final was really, really good. I wouldn't call it boring, but I expected way more again, just like you guys said. So I would put it in overrated final as well.
Overrated final for Darren. So that 2016 final, the 11th for Real Madrid, is an overrated one. If Real Madrid watch our podcast, please, it's nothing against you. It's just because we have to classify, and you were in the final each time, so we have to
Yeah, I mean,
classify. We
yeah.
got more, and we have a great one. We move on to 2017. Final between Real Madrid once again and Juventus, a big 4-1 victory for Real Madrid, who go on to win it again. Darren, this 2017 final for you, it is what final it is for you?
So, this is, I think, one of the biggest performances by a team in the final. I think that Real Madrid team absolutely destroyed Juventus. That Casemiro goal, it was absolutely incredible. I mean, even though Mandzukic also scored a really, really,
Yeah,
really, really
Yeah,
great goal. I mean,
overhead
an
goal.
amazing one.
yeah, really, really amazing goal. But in overall, I think Juventus team dropped an absolute stinker that game. I expected way more from them. I mean, 4-1 is a huge loss for a final game. So that's the reason why I'm not putting in great final, but in good final. If Juventus put some more effort, some more performance to stop Real Madrid or make it even a little bit harder for Real Madrid, I would put it in great final, but for me, it's good final.
Okay, so good final for Darren. Alex, where do you rank this 2017 final?
That's an overrated final.
This guy.
Nah, but if you guys remember, okay, Casemiro scored a great goal, but it was deflected. So yeah, it was
Huh?
deflected. And if you guys remember, Sergio Ramos, like at some point during the game, he didn't remember, he just forgot that he was a footballer, and he suddenly became the best actor in the world and got Cuadrado sent out
Yeah,
for
but
nothing,
that's
sent
fair.
off for
That's fair.
nothing. It was the most like shameful dive in a Champions League final level ever. And if you are looking back at the footage, you'll agree with me because he like pretended to be hit on the in the eye and started crying like a baby. And yeah, just an overrated final because Real Madrid actually robbed Bayern Munich on the way to the final. If you are looking back at the second leg that was played in the quarters between Real Madrid and Bayern at the Bernabeu, and Ancelotti was the Bayern Munich manager, by the way, he said at the press conference after the game that the referee clearly favored Real Madrid and there were so many things that should not happen in football that happened during that day. Real Madrid robbed everybody on their way to that final and they went on to get the lead back through a deflected goal. And yeah, then Ramos played the best actor in the world and got Cuadrado sent out. That's an overrated final.
Okay, I think we understand what you wanted to say. Jotis, what's your opinion on that final?
I think that's a great final. And first of all, I agree with, Sergio Ramos, diving to send Cuadrado send off. But Alex talks as if that would have made a difference. That's in the final minutes of the game. We're already 4-1 up. Alex talks as if that's the decision that
Yeah,
changed the final. But one thing Alex forgot to mention is how Juventus destroyed Barcelona on their way to the final because they played Barcelona in the semi-finals, and then it was such a good performance because I don't think Barcelona scored any goals in the two legs against Juventus because the defense was like solid and they couldn't do anything. Then Real Madrid went and scored 4 goals in the final, and you know made Barcelona look like bum. That that performance because 2017 Real Madrid, and we all see the videos now because the players that were lining up before the game, the noodle hair Ronaldo, it was one of the peaks of Real Madrid that during that era. It was such a dominant performance from all the players involved, not just Cristiano, like everyone involved, Luka Modric, Casemiro, everyone was at their peak in that final. So I would put that as a great final.
yeah, great final. I've put it also as a great final because I have a lot of great memories. That Mandzukic goal, I think we were all like, I was sitting on my chair, and when Mandzukic scored that goal, I was like, oh my god, what just happened? Because
Yeah.
we don't see so much that kind of goals in UCL finals, right? And then of course after Real Madrid just did the was impressive. I remember Marcelo during that final was great. Casemiro, Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, and as you said, judges, I think this Real Madrid in 2017 was maybe the best Real Madrid we've seen. So that's why I put it in great final. But we have to decide. We have two great, one overrated, and one good. So I propose to put it in the good final. What do you think, guys? It's okay for you?
Yeah, yeah, that's fair because the average
Could
would
be.
probably be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's put that in
Yeah.
a
We
good
don't have
final.
robbery here, so
Okay, let's move on to 2018, and once again a final with Real Madrid, this time against Liverpool. Zidane's Real Madrid wins 3-1, completing the treble. Therein, this 2018 final, where do you place it in that table?
When we look at this final, I think most of us would probably remember that crazy bicycle kick goal by Gareth Bale. So you remember how you said you reacted to Mandzukic's goal when you were sitting in the chair? I reacted exactly the same to Gareth Bale's goal in this final. So
Okay,
for me, I'm putting this in great final. The
okay,
reason that I'm not putting it maybe in GOAT final is because I have respect for Atletico Madrid Real Madrid final in 2014. I think the Chelsea game against Bayern Munich was also better. But maybe if Mohamed Salah was not injured in that Sergio Ramos position, maybe this final could have been more tensioned and maybe it could have been a GOAT final. But just for the goals and the story, I'm putting this in the great final category.
Okay, I'll give my opinion now because I have a totally different one from yours. I agree that that goal from Gareth Bale and also the story of that Champions League was amazing. But guys, you remember that game? You remember Karius, the goalkeeper of Liverpool?
Yeah.
He destroyed that game. To be honest, we had the two best teams in Europe at that time. Real Madrid was in won the two precedent editions. That Liverpool of Jurgen Klopp was really impressive. That was the two best teams in the world at that time. Like the 2011 one, with Barcelona and Manchester United, that was a logical final in my opinion in 2018. And since the beginning, the goalkeeper of Liverpool destroyed the game, destroyed the tension, destroyed the rivalry. And also, you remember the second goal of Gareth Bale, the goalkeeper did, I don't know where he was, but he was in
Arius, yeah.
not in the stadium
And
at that time.
he was so bad that right after this game, he was shipped to Turkish league. I remember
was-
that.
Yeah.
Exactly, man. So for me, it destroyed a bit that game. I expected more, not in terms of goals and in terms of result, but in terms of tension between those two. You mentioned also Mohamed Salah's injuries, so that kind of destroyed a bit the game. So that's why I've put it in overrated final, not because the game was not good and the sensation and the scenario was not good, but because I expected more in terms of level of play and tension between those two teams. I really thought that Liverpool would be the one to beat Real Madrid in the final at that time, and that was not the case. And that was also the fault of the goalkeeper. So that's why I put it here. Chis, where do you put this 2018 final?
I mean, we don't have space for this game in that category, but I would put it in good final. Just because, like you said, the game was great, but it was kind of dampened by like all the errors from Karius at Bale. Obviously, brilliant goal, but it's sometimes like really cruel how one game kind of changes your
Yeah.
entire career. Because after that game, I don't think Karius ever played. Like even though he went to Turkey, I don't think he played. He was like the first keeper, or he played a lot of games.
First keeper of Beşiktaş.
Third keeper.
No, first keeper for Beşiktaş.
Okay, yeah, because I don't think he had a good career after that. I think he retired, or I don't know what he's doing right now. But
He's dating
yeah,
Greta Leotta.
who's that?
She's like the most famous Italian TV presenter in the world. Just look at her phone, look at her up on the internet, and you'll see that Karius, even though he lost that final, he won in life.
What was the name for educational purposes?
Yeah, just for the
Diletta
Exactly.
Leotta, educational purposes.
But yeah, I think that's a good final.
good final. Okay, Alex, your opinion on that final?
You know what, Jules? I actually agree with you. The mistakes from Karius, it was very obviously this was the deciding factor. And Liverpool, even though Ramos on purpose, like purposely injured Salah, and Ramos should have been sent off for that, but he wasn't because that's Real Madrid we are talking about here. Even though Liverpool went down through the first Karius mistake and Salah was taken out from the beginning of the game, they actually equalized and they were like on a great like momentum. And I actually thought at that moment, I was watching that game with some friends in a bar in the old center in Bucharest, and I was like already at the frenzy all around Real Madrid supporters when Sadio Mane equalized for
Yeah.
Liverpool. And then out of nowhere, Bale came with that bicycle kick that actually, like, I went under the table for that because I couldn't believe my eyes to see a bicycle kick in the Champions League final for
That's crazy.
just because of those mistakes. The result was so obvious. So yeah, it's an overrated final.
Okay, so we have one great final, one good final, and two overrated finals. Normally, we should place it maybe in good final, but we are full. So we have two choices. We put it in overrated final, or we put one of the good finals we had in overrated to have space to put that 2018. Guys, what do you think? What do we do?
Overrated. We moved
I
it
think
to
it's
overrated.
fair just because of the mistakes and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When we consider
Okay,
Karius overrated, it's okay.
okay, let's put it first, so not to be so
Yeah.
far
Edge
from
of
our choices. Okay, let's move on now. We don't have a lot of time left, but I think we will be a bit quicker with those finals. First, 2019 final, this all English match between Liverpool and Tottenham. The Reds won 2-0 to claim their sixth Champions League title. I begin, I won't explain it more. That was a boring final. When I thought about that tier list, the first choice I put in the boring final was that one. To be
absolutely.
honest, I don't have a lot to say about that. So for me, it's a boring final. Darren, I think you
You know,
agree with me too.
I'm gonna upgrade it even further from you. I think it's the worst final in the list. Maybe not even the list. Maybe even in the 21st century, it was the worst final. It should have been a Ajax versus Barcelona final, but I don't know what the gods of football decided to do. They did
Yeah.
some voodoo magic or something, and both Ajax and Barcelona somehow got knocked out. So it was this terrible, horrible, boring final. It's the boring of the boring. It's the worst final in the Champions League.
Darren really hates that final.
I really hate that
Yeah.
final. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I agree with you. Judges, did you hate that final as much as us, or what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of did because Ajax knocked out. I think Ajax knocked us out and then went on to get knocked out by Tottenham. Like, can you imagine a worse insult you can have on your team?
And they knocked out.
How Tottenham got into that final, only God knows.
Nobody
So yeah,
understands.
nobody knows. But I just gave them an upgrade. I put them in overrated final. But yeah, I'm
Okay.
happy with wherever it is.
Alex, we're finished this turn with that 2019 final. Where do you put it?
No, it's a boring final. And if you remember that Champions League, the whole season, that Champions League season was so crazy. We had like remontadas in each fixture in the knockout stages. It was an amazing season. We had so many like memorable games
Yeah.
during that Champions League season. And in the semifinals, like Liverpool reached the final after doing the remontada against Barcelona, and Tottenham did the remontada against Ajax, and then nothing in the final. Such a boring final. But yeah, the only thing I have to say is that I agree with the winner. Like, yeah, Liverpool were deserved champions, but it's a boring final.
Yeah, really boring final. Let's put that at the bottom of this tier list and move on. 2020 special final in a pandemic year following the final eight in August. Bayern Munich wins its sixth Champions League title, beating PSG 1-0. Thanks to a goal from former Parisian Kingsley Coman. Of course, former Parisian always scored against. We'll begin with Alex. Alex, what's your opinion on that game?
I mean, it's a boring final for me, this one as well. Bayern, they were dominant during that year and they destroyed everybody in Europe. Yeah, I know about the 8-2 you were going to mention right after I stopped talking. So, yeah, they destroyed everybody, including Barcelona, 8-2
But
in
that's
the
not the
quarters.
final.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the final, nothing happened. Kingsley Coman, out of everybody, he was the one that scored the winning goal. PSG, I think the biggest chance for PSG was a one-on-one from Mbappe, and Neuer
Absolutely.
managed to save that ball with his foot. But apart from that, nothing happened really. So it's a boring final for me.
Yeah, I will say the same as you. Not because PSG lost, to be honest. Maybe if PSG has won that game, I won't put it in a boring final. But to be honest, also the situation of that game in August after the pandemic, this
Yeah,
final eight,
exactly.
no supporters, no one in the stadium, and the game was really boring. We didn't see any great occasion. PSG, as you mentioned, has one or two maximum good occasion, even not even great ones. So yeah, I agree with you. That was for me a boring final. Jotis, for you, this final, where do you place it?
Yeah, it's the same. I mean, when I saw the list, when I saw this final on the list, I couldn't remember anything about the final. So
Yeah,
that kind of summarizes how boring it was. But Neymar was at PSG at that time, wasn't he? Because yeah,
absolutely.
that's the only thing I remember. Because after the game, he was crying on the bench. Because
Yeah,
I remember that. Apart from that, nothing really excited me about that game. So I put that boring.
boring. Darren, you closed that turn. Where do you rank this final?
I think it's the first time that all of us agree in one thing. I also agree with you guys that
Guys, I have the list here. I have the list. I wrote it everything, and this is
yeah,
the first time we all agree on the.
yeah, it's definitely a boring final. I mean, COVID, the pandemic, there are not a single fan in the stadium, so it kills the whole vibe, the whole spirit of football, and also not much in the game. So yeah, boring final.
Boring final. Okay. Let's continue with another All English final. Sorry, in 2021 between Man City and Chelsea. Sudden victory for the Blues, 1-0, thanks to a goal from Kai Havertz. You know that I like Chelsea. I think I say it maybe 10 times in each podcast we were doing, but I have to say it. To be honest, if I wasn't a Chelsea fan, I would put it as a boring final too, because we have 2019 boring final, 2020 boring final, and I think that 2021 too. I've put it in a overrated, but I have no arguments for that, to be honest. It's just because I'm a Chelsea fan and I don't want to put them in a boring category. I've put it in overrated. Guys, tell me what you think. Darren, where do you put that one?
You know what? I'm gonna make a U-turn here, a
Mm-hmm.
complete turn, because I think this one was a good final for me. I
Okay.
expected Manchester City to win the Champions League that year. It was not their best year, but it was one of their best years, and
Yeah.
I was really, really expecting Manchester City to win it. I mean, Chelsea had a really, really bad season in Premier League that season, but one coach change can change everything. I mean, Thomas Tuchel really, really did a amazing job there. And also in the final, I think this Chelsea team showed one of the best defensive performances I've ever seen in a Champions League game. I mean, this reminded me kind of the Inter from Mourinho. The Park the Bus was insane. And N'Golo Kante, man, this game was probably the peak of his career. I'm not
That's
sure if
true.
he had better games, but in this game, he performed really, really amazing. So for these reasons and for the unexpected winner, non-favorite winner, I'm putting this in good final.
Okay, good final. Where do you rank that 2021 final between Chelsea and Man City?
So yeah, just when I started thinking about this final, I was thinking about saying the same thing as you. Like it was a boring game in terms of football. There weren't many chances, and the player that scored the goal, the winning goal, turned out to be Kai Havertz out of all people. But just because the winner was unexpected, because out of the two, you would pick Man City as
Yeah.
the winner because they were the better team. But Guardiola, for some reason, I think he had the nightmare before the game or something because he started the game without any defensive midfielders. He selected all his attacking minded players and just threw them all onto the pitch and expected them to like break down this Chelsea wall. Yeah, they were very good defensively, but they weren't spectacular at all. It's a boring final, but just because we had an unexpected winner, we can just make it an upgrade. So yeah, maybe an overrated final.
Okay, judges, what do you think about that final 2021?
I think it was a boring final.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you guys all explained all the reasons. And Kai Havertz, I think he hit the peak there and it just all went down from there. I don't think he ever had a peak like that since then. But yeah, it was a boring. Thiago Silva was excellent that game because
Mm-hmm.
of his performance in defense. But apart from that, there isn't much. So yeah,
Yeah.
boring.
Okay, so we have one boring, one good, and two overrated. So I propose you to put it in the overrated category. We have a bit of space, so maybe we can put it there. That's okay with you
Yeah,
guys?
Mm-hmm.
So
fair.
okay, let's put that one here. The 2022 final now took place in Paris, in the Stade de France, between Real Madrid and Liverpool, 4 years after the last one. And another Spanish victory, 1-0 with this goal from Vini Jotis. Once again, a Real Madrid victory in the final. Where do you put that one in this tier list?
I mean, I would call it a great final, but I'm happy if you guys put it in a good final as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, I mean, Salah had talked a lot of shit coming into that game that he was going to win that and blah, blah, blah. And he put up a great performance, to be fair to him. But Courtois was unbelievable in that game. I mean, everyone, when we talk about that final, no one talks about Vini's goal. Everyone talks about Courtois' performance. That was That was probably the best performance I've seen by a goalkeeper in a final in a long time. Liverpool were really good that season, and Liverpool were really good in that final as well. They had so many chances, but yeah. So for all these reasons, I would put it in great final. I'm happy with getting a good final as well.
Okay, Alex, where do you place that 2022 final in Paris?
So for me, it's an overrated final.
Yeah.
It's
Of
because
course it is.
if you remember, the game started about almost 2 hours later than it was supposed to be because there were like some problems with the fans and everything. Imagine you are saving your whole life to experience one of your biggest dreams to watch live a Champions League final, and that shit happens. I mean, that moment, if that would happen to me, I would, I don't know, stop watching football for a week maybe.
Maximum.
Yeah, but now and then Liverpool, they played very good. Real Madrid just parked the bus and they were so lucky they had Courtois because I swear to God, they had no other tactic but to just park the bus and throw the ball to Vini and hope he can run past Trent Alexander-Arnold. They were lucky to score that goal, and they were lucky to have Courtois because Liverpool actually played good. It was, I think, this is how you can describe how Real Madrid won the Champions League that year. Luck. This is the moment, the word that defined them that year. Luck, because they were so lucky in every single game, also with the help of referees. But yeah, it's an overrated final.
Overrated. Maybe we can do a tier list of the referees. Maybe it can be
Yeah,
interesting to do.
I told you we should have another category, robbery.
Yeah.
Maybe
Robbery.
in the next international break in March.
Maybe we'll do that. Erin, where do you put that 2022 final?
I mean, even though there were some mistakes like with the fans and security and everything, I enjoyed that final. I mean, if we take a look at all the 1-0 games, which is a lot, I mean, there have been lots
Yeah.
of 1-0 finals in those years. I think this one was the best among them, so I'm putting in this one in the good final category.
Good final category, and yeah, I won't say nothing more than you all say the things. I put it in a good final too. So we have now a problem because we have one great final, one overrated final, and two good finals. If I say good, so if we put it in good final, we need to take one good final in the great one, or maybe in the overrated one. Guys, what do you think? Which final can we move?
Move the Real Madrid Juventus one in the overrated.
Yeah, right. I was telling you can move that into the great one if you
Yeah,
want.
I was thinking about that too.
Yeah, I mean, same for me.
Yeah,
Okay.
same
That
for
is
you.
actually a
I
great
mean,
final.
we will choose one of the great finals as it goes, so we might as well just put one of the good into the great final. So I think
So yeah,
Real Madrid-
Real Madrid Juventus.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so. Yeah.
Okay, let's put it at the end, Alex, so you're not so sad. Okay, that's a great final, but
on the
not the
edge.
greatest one. Okay, let's finish. We have three more finals to classify. 2023 final between Man City and Inter Milan, a narrow 1-0 victory for Man City, who won their first trophy finally. Therein, this final is where? What do you think?
In Istanbul, in here at my home city. Even though I couldn't find the damn ticket for the final,
Yeah.
it was in Istanbul. So if you ask me, I think Manchester City really had an amazing season. Erling Haaland had his debut season as his best season in Manchester City, even though right now he's performing incredible as well. They absolutely destroyed Real Madrid in the semifinals. But I should say in the final, I think Manchester City played way below expectations.
Yeah.
And it's safe to say maybe even Inter was better in the final, but that Rodri goal saved Manchester City's ass. So I'm putting this one in the overrated final category.
Overrated for therein. Jotis, where do you put that one?
I mean, it's between good and overrated because it was a historic for them, for Man City, because they've been chasing that Champions League for so long, and already had a great performance and a great goal, but there was nothing too exciting about that, especially as Darren said, coming after such a dominant performance against us. Yeah, maybe overrated or maybe good. Yeah, anything works.
Okay, Alex, do you agree with your teammates?
Yeah, I agree with the boys. It was an overrated final. We expected much more from Man City, but I think Guardiola learned from the Champions League final loss against Chelsea from 2 years ago that he doesn't need to risk it in the final, and he played a very defensive-minded game. Inter were unlucky to not score, but overall, an overrated final for me.
Overrated final. I had kind of the same conclusion as yours. I was hesitating between boring and overrated. Boring because the result was not the greatest one we expected, and I think we expected way more from Man City that game. But yeah, that was a kind of overrated final. Let's put it in this category. We move on now to the 2024 final between Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund, which we watched together at the Santiago Bernabeu, guys. That was a great
Yes.
memory. Real won 2-0, goals from Carvajal and Vinicius. Jotis, where do you put that 2024 final?
I mean, to be honest, it was a bit overrated because everyone was expecting Dortmund to win. None of them really lost. None of them really seen Real Madrid lose a major final, but still they were expecting Dortmund to win. But it was always going to be Real Madrid, and yeah, it was a pretty straightforward win.
Really, people were
So nothing.
expecting Dortmund to win?
People were actually expecting Dortmund to
Wow,
make a surprise,
I didn't.
but yeah, I mean, everyone know it was only going one way. So yeah, maybe a bit overrated.
Maybe overrated. I've put it in a good final, even if that was not maybe the greatest opponent Real Madrid could have faced, but still they went to the final and beating great teams, including PSG in the semifinals for Dortmund. And also their first half was really good. I remember that they had several occasions, really good ones. So at that time we were like, maybe that could do a surprise or score a goal. I don't know. But at the end, of course, Real Madrid scored that header from Carvajal. We remember it, and then that goal from Vini. So for me, that was a good final. Maybe the memory of that final, watching it together in the stadium, was more a pleasure than the final itself. But yeah, I've put it in a good final. Therein, where do you put that one?
So for me, I expected Real Madrid to win, but I didn't expect Dortmund to be in the final. I mean, when I watched the Dortmund versus PSG game, I was surprised how Dortmund made it to the final. PSG missed so many chances, lots of finishing problems. So this should have been a Real Madrid PSG final, in my opinion. But even though Dortmund made it to the final, I think they put on a really, really good show in overall. As you said, in the first half, they were really impressive. Edin Terzic did a good job, I mean, based on his availability in the team. So I think I agree with you. I think it's a good final as well.
Good final, okay. And Alex, what's your opinion on that final?
I mean, in terms of football, it was the most expected way the final has been like developed because Dortmund were great in the first half. They had the chances, they like created chances, not clear-cut chances, but they put like a little bit of pressure. Then Real Madrid started had a corner in the like 70 something minute. Carvajal scored and then Vini scored the second. Just because of the memory of watching it at the Bernabeu with you guys and experiencing the Champions League final at the Bernabeu and everything, I must say it was a good final, but that's just because of the personal experience I had and we all had together. But in terms of pure football, it was a very like overrated final. But just say it's a good final for the memory.
Okay. So what we're going to do, because we are nearly at the end, we'll put it here, so in good final, and then at the end we'll try to balance the tier list, okay? So
Okay.
we will first finish with this 2025 final between PSG and Inter Milan. PSG won 5-0 record in this competition, I have to say it. And of course, you may understand that it is my GOAT. It's not really objective because that final was not the best tension between two teams in a Champions League final, but it's my greatest memory of football, of course. 5-0, Doué scoring twice. Vitinha was great. I have so many memories of that final. So that's my GOAT. But I want to know your opinion, guys, on that final. Maybe you saw it in another way than me at that time. So, Jotis, where do you rank that final?
I'm sorry, Jules, nothing
Don't be.
personal, but for me, that was a boring final because I went in to watch that final expecting such. I mean, I did. The thing is, I didn't expect such a dominant performance from PSG. Like it was so one-sided that after a while, I was like, "What am I watching?" Because Inter beat Barcelona, such a good Barcelona team, to came into the final, and they just forgot they were in the final. So it was a bit boring for me. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
that
understand
was
why you
a
would.
yeah, no, but that was a strange game. If you're neutral in that game, you want to see a tight one, a shot between two big teams, and you don't have that. You have just one team playing and the other one sleeping. I don't know what Inter was doing at that time, but yeah, I kind of understand what you're saying. Alex, what's your opinion on that latest final?
I agree with Jyoti saying it was a boring final. Like from a neutral point of view, I wanted PSG to win the final just because Inter beat Barcelona. It's a great final for me because it was the most one-sided final in a very, very long time that we've seen. And PSG were so dominant. The way they tear Inter apart, it was crazy. So yeah, a great final overall, just because of how dominant that win was.
Okay, great final for Alex and Darren. Where do you put that last final we have?
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with Alex here because I've never seen a 5-0 final. I mean, not only in Champions League, but when I think of other competitions as well. I mean,
Yeah.
5-0 in a final is crazy. If one team scores 5 goals over the other, I cannot put it in boring or overrated. I mean, those guys, the PSG players, they deserve the recognition. And also, I remember the celebrations after the game was pretty crazy, Jules, in Paris. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm putting this one in a great final as well. I enjoyed it a lot in terms of football entertainment.
Okay, great final.
Yeah,
So we
actually, to be fair, that's really good point. I mean, I mean boring just from a neutral perspective where there
absolutely,
are no
yeah,
competition.
yeah,
But I
sure.
agree, it's such a dominant performance. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do kind of the same as we did with the different goat we have. So we'll put it also it in great final. We have two great final, one goat, and now we have to decide two things. First, who is the goat? Which final is the goat? And then we have to maybe put one good final in another category. We'll see. We'll see. But the most important now is to decide which final is the goat. Guys have to decide now. Have to vote. I don't know what to do, but we have.
All right, what do
There's
you
only
guys
one
say?
right answer.
You
There's
say
only
Real
one right
Madrid.
answer.
You know what? You know
Barcelona,
what?
Man United.
We can do one thing. We will each vote for one match, but we can't vote for our goat.
Nice one. Nice one. Nice
So
one.
maybe we'll have one that will have one, two, or three votes. Okay.
Okay, nice.
Okay, good
All
one.
right.
Okay.
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 So who wants to go first? Jotis, you want to go first?
Okay. Barcelona, Man United.
Barcelona, Man United. All right. Alex.
Bayern, Chelsea.
This
Okay.
guy.
Darren.
Real Madrid, Atletico.
Real
No,
Madrid, Atletico.
bro.
Sorry, bro.
Let's go.
It's up to
Guys,
you. All of them
guys,
have 2 votes now.
it's up to me. But to be honest, if I think of the growth of the finals, the scenario, the clash, the goals, the saves, the penalties, I will put that 2012 final Bayern Chelsea
Wow, okay.
Oh, wow.
as
I
the
mean, that's
goat,
fair.
But yeah, to be honest, this is the difficult choice because 2014 to deserved it, 2011. Even 2017, I think we've been a bit rude with that final because, guys, remember that goal from Mandzukic and then the other goals, the tension in that game was kind of crazy, but I can understand that the score is not reflecting what we imagine as a GOAT final. So that's true. What are we doing? Do we keep? Do we stay like this even if we have five good finals? It is okay for you guys because we don't have so much time for now, and I think that this tier list is kind of good. It makes sense. What do you think?
I think it's all right.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
Yeah,
I'm
okay. I mean,
happy
we're
with it.
talking about finals, so you
yeah,
Yeah.
can't really, make it boring because it is what it is.
it is what it is, and I think we have the middle category good final. We have the five ones that makes sense, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like a
So I
pyramid,
think
There are a
it,
few great and boring overrated and then a couple of good finals, so it's good, I think.
exactly. just to resume, we have two boring finals: 2019 Liverpool against Tottenham and 2020 Bayern Munich against PSG. Then we have overrated finals: 2018, 2016, 2021, and 2023. Good finals, we have that 2010 final, 2013, 2015, 2022, and 2024. Great final, we have that 4-1 victory of Real Madrid in 2014, 3-1 for Barcelona against Man United 2011, 2017 final between Real Madrid and Juventus, and the latest final we've seen, 2025 PSG Inter, and the GOAT of four lads, one red card, talking about that finals, is this 2012 final between Chelsea and Bayern Munich. Guys, I think we have everything for now. I hope you enjoyed this first tier list together. Of course, feel free to share, to like, and above all, to comment with your opinions or the choices you would have made in our place. It's really important, and you're free to say whatever you want. Jotis, Darin, Alex, Guy, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, we
Thank
loved
you.
it. Absolutely.
It was a lot of fun. Thanks, Jules.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you guys. We'll definitely be doing another tier list on a different team. So feel free to send us your ideas for topics to rank or to comment our post. We will watch them closely. Thank you all for watching this podcast and listening to us. And we'll see you again next week, Monday, next Monday, same time. Bye bye, guys. Thank you very much.
Bye bye. See you back in club.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.